Hello and welcome to MIL's guide, helping you to set up your home studio the right way by watching me correct my wrongs. If you've not watched episode 1, the link's below so you can go there first to check what this is all about. I'm Darren, and before we get going, I'd be hugely grateful if you join the MIL community by subscribing to this channel. Hit that subscribe button now, you'll never miss a video, especially if you hit the bell button too. If I can offer you a few things that might help improve your workflow from these videos, then that's going to be super cool. So in the first video, I talked about why I changed my studio setup and the things that I considered and needed to improve productivity, and to some degree, the sound too. A better creative space and one that was unique to me. If you're not doing this, I highly recommend you watch this series and consider how you can get more creative by looking at how your studio works for you. So let's check out my vlog of the whole process. Apologies if the camera jumps around a bit. I did this holding the camera as I was recording. And also the sound, although not bad, is just coming from the camera's speaker mic. Camera's speaker, okay, is coming from the camera's mic. So here's the vlog of my studio revamp in all its glory. Enjoy. Okay, so this is day 2 of thinking about how I'm going to change the studio. I would flip this round and show you me, but I look absolutely terrible. I'm in my gym jams. Today I've actually created a bit of a platform to show you how the studio may look. And I wanted to try this out first. I just got some bits of wood. My wife has recently had a log cabin built, and I decided that I would use these planks, you can see these planks here, to just run across so I can actually get some kind of idea how this is all going to look. So there's the keyboard, the speakers, the monitors. I'm waiting for a new cable for the other monitor to come. You can also see here that I've just used a music stand to hold this platform up. Now the reason why I'm doing this is because this is bespoke. I wanted to try it out. I'm going to sit here for the day kind of writing, seeing how things go, and see if this works. If it doesn't work, then I'll have a rethink, maybe go for a studio desk. The other thing is I'm going to be ordering a rack cabinet for all the rack gear, and then I will have my pedal board, and I also have some analog stuff coming here. You can see the studio's complete mess. My Amphion amp is there at the moment, and my amps and other gear and stuff is over here. So that's it, that's where we're at. Next time you see this, we'll hopefully have made some progress. Today is day 3, thinking about this. I've been working with the monitor. You can see that I've taken the other 2 monitors down. The screen is very high, so I'm definitely going to need that VESA arm. That's coming tomorrow with a whole bunch of stuff. And I've had something else arrive today, which I'm very excited about. And it is a Neutron. And this has had great reviews, so I'm going to have a quick... I've actually already opened it. So I'm looking forward to firing this up. That will be going along with all the pedals. I will keep you updated when more stuff arrives tomorrow. Okay, so here we are. It's day, I don't know how many days since I started this. Today we've got some new stuff arrived. If you're watching this, this is my first unboxing video. I've seen people use knives, Stanley knives, all sorts of things, but this is the piece of kit that you need for an unboxing video, because it means you will never ever take your fingers off. How quick is this? And look at this, open. I'm a bit weird like that. I don't like tearing boxes apart. Okay, so this is... I'm trying this out. It's pretty cheap. I haven't gone for anything really expensive. It's just an AC adapter so that I can plug in all of my pedals, because I waste so much time putting batteries in these things. Bunch of cables. I also have this. Can't even remember what this one is. Okay, so what is this? I can't even remember. What? I've been given some free oil. There we go. A freebie is always nice. Now this is the other bit that I think is really going to help me with that screen being too high. Let's take a look at this. Whoa! Wow! Look at that. That sprung right up. Now go and get it back down. There we go. Little treat. It's always great when you find another little treat in the box. So this is so I can get 3 screens running. For anybody that has a Mac and wants to get 3 screens running, you need an active adapter. So we'll see. Alright, let's test this. I'll undo this thing. I hate leads. Bloody hell. Bloody hell. Bloody hell. Will it work? Haha! 1 screen, 2 screens, 3 screens. So there we go. It pays. Buy an active adapter and you'll get your 3 screens working. Also buy one of these. This makes life so much easier when you're unboxing stuff. Will save your fingers. Okay, so it's been a busy day with work, but 2 more boxes have arrived. I'm going to show you those now. I've had a bit of a tidy up because I couldn't live in all the chaos. So there's 1 box here. I'm going to show you what that is. This isn't actually that interesting, but it will be relevant to my YouTube channel and my website, masteringinlogic.com, where I have new courses coming this year. And then I have this as well. This is nothing really exciting. It's some legs. Look at this though. I found this at a place called Hobbycraft, which is just a craft type place in the UK. This is a kids keyboard. Build your own electric keyboard. If you're not on any Facebook groups, I highly recommend you get on some Facebook groups, because I saw someone post the link up to this. Now, I think the sounds in this are probably going to be pretty naff. I know nothing about electronics, so I'm probably starting at the same age that this is for, probably 6 and up. But I'm going to sample this and see if I can make an interesting instrument out of this. But I just haven't had time to do this yet. So that's something for the future, but let's check out what I've got in here. Nifty unboxer thing. We're in business, maybe not. Now my website has been kind of in the past with the actual 720p videos. Now I understand this is not the most amazing piece of kit in the world, but apparently it does good videos, so you should see an improved quality of the actual videos. So that's a Canon thing. So let's take a look at this. Awesome. That is a leg. It's gonna sit on the keyboard under here like this. So you'll see these nice legs, not this horrible thing here. And it should look all really clean and neat and nice. So there we go. So there's 8 legs. You might be wondering why there's 8 legs, but you'll see when it's eventually done. Okay, so here we are, day whatever it is. I'm not sure how many days in I am now. I put my table up. You can see those legs, I think, look quite nice. Rather than go and spend a fortune on a keyboard table or keyboard stand, whatever you would want to call it, I thought it might look quite funky with something like that. Now this, I'll paint this or put some trim on here so it'll look really, really nice. At the moment it looks a bit naff. Yeah, so there we go. This is where we're at. Hopefully I'll be sitting at these legs soon. Okay, table is in and I'm quite pleased with that. It's looking really, really good. I actually don't mind the industrial look of the plywood, so we'll see. I might paint it, I might put a finish on there. You don't really notice it, but it does look kind of industrial, which I think might go with the style of the legs. I think these considerations are really important, because you want to walk into your space and not just feel motivated to work, but also feel motivated to be creative or inspired by the space that you're in. So yeah, I don't think that's too bad. And here at the back, along here, this is where my 2 other monitors will go, because I think that's probably the best way forward. But I think that looks pretty good. I'm quite pleased with the way that looks. Extremely inexpensive to do. Okay, so here is the next part of the studio build. Nice bit of oak to stick all the pedals on. Is going to give me the ability to sit here. This is my thinking anyway, because so I'll be sitting here playing, working, composing, and then when I need to scoot over here to mess about with the pedals and the neutron, which will all be plumbed into the ensemble. And that is how it's sort of slowly coming together. Okay, it's been a busy day in the studio today. I've been working in complete chaos, so it's been a bit of a nightmare. But I have got another unboxing. I've had a rack cabinet arrive today, and this is a bit of a punt. I didn't want to spend a fortune on a rack cabinet, mainly because I wanted to be able to stain it or paint it or add to it if I wanted to make it a bit more bespoke to the kind of design that I'm creating. I didn't want to go for a big brand name Argosy or something like that, which would cost, you know, for an 8-unit rack could cost me £200-300. So I've bought this for £60, £25 delivery. It's about £80 altogether, something like that, which is about $100. So I've no idea if this cabinet is going to be any good or not, but let's go and unbox it. Here's the box. My amazing cutter. You got to get one of these. Look at the tiny, I don't know if you can see the tiny little blade on that. So we go, look at that, this side. Let's see what this looks like. Ooh, it doesn't look too good to start with, but that's just polystyrene. So it looks like the polystyrene is ill. That looks pretty good actually. So there's the cabinet, and there should be some nuts in there too. It's not particularly heavy. From the first look, it actually looks like it's fairly well made. As I said also, the other thing is that I wanted to get something that wasn't too expensive, but also would enable me to actually be able to either paint it or add to it, maybe put a piece of wood on the top, I don't know, but it gives me another surface to put stuff on the top of the actual cabinet. But it also means I can try and make it so that it works more with the studio in terms of design if I do actually paint it and stuff like that. So hopefully we'll see. I'm going to put some stuff in there and maybe lay everything out, and that's the next step of the studio build. Alright, okay, so I've put everything in situ. I've kind of just put everything together. The top is up with the monitors. This isn't going to be like this. I've got a VESA mount, so there'll be an arm. This will actually be slightly lower. 2 screens are there. The monitors are up. I've got a bit on the end just in case I want to, I don't know, put some Star Wars figures or something like that on there. The keyboard is down. The cabinet is there, and then my pedals and synths. The only issue that I've got, and I said it was a bit of a punt, is this. Unfortunately, I think in transport, and the same on the other side, they've been, the MDF has cracked. So I've contacted the seller, and I'll probably be returning this back in this massive box. So that's a bit of a pain. It means I'm going to have to wait slightly longer to get all my gear racked in, but I've put it all up just so I can sort of kind of see where everything will go. Amp stays on this side, guitars might go over there, but that's kind of starting to come together. It's not looking too bad, and I think I'll have a nice working environment. I think it's going to look quite funky when it's finished, maybe. Okay, so one of the things that I would say if you're doing a new studio build or you're packing your stuff down to sort of kind of redesign things is stay organized, because I've now got a nightmare trying to unravel and unwrap and organize all the leads and stuff like that that is going to go into all of this. Let me show you what I mean. So there's leads there, there's leads there, leads in here, a ton of leads down there, loom there, other leads up there. They're fairly well organized. Computer down there with a lead on it. One thing that I've realized is that if you've got lots of bits of gear, no matter what it is, whether it's keyboards, control pads, outboard, you get loads of different types of adapters. And I like to make sure that I'm putting the correct adapter back into the correct piece of gear. My UAD, for example, has an adapter, and I pulled one end of the cable out, and I needed to make sure that I was going back into the correct adapter. So keep organized, and also make sure that you label stuff up if you think you're not going to be as organized as I've been forced into being. It will save you a lot of time, and also it may even save you some money, because you certainly don't want to go plugging something back in when it's all set up and then you find that your gear is damaged by that cable not being correct. It's day, I'm not sure. Table, as you've already seen, is finished, but I've kind of just had a test wire in of everything. My all-important stylophone, which I've sampled, made some amazing sounds out of this. Really simple. It's essentially a toy, but it is also a musical instrument and has been on a number of hit records, would you believe it or not. Now, I also had a bit of an issue with my rack cabinet that I purchased. So you'll see at the moment my amp and ensemble are sitting back on the original table where I had my rack gear. The actual studio platform, I'm just tripping over stuff, is all done, and I think that's looking pretty good. I'm really pleased. Managed to get the speakers up, nothing's wired in yet. I've got my 2 screens which I still need to test, and then my bigger screen here on a VESA mount, so if I need to move it up and down I can. And then I've put some kind of funky lights to go with the funky legs, in the hope that the studio looks a little bit more unique to me. Bit of a bump in the road with the cabinet, but you know, these things happen. I'm sure it wasn't sent out damaged. Unfortunately, it just wasn't packaged too nicely. So I will show you what it looks like when it's finally finished and I have everything wired in. A couple of things that you need to think about if you're doing this kind of stuff. The HDMI cable that was running out of the back of the big monitor at the back was too short. I could probably have stretched it, but I had to go out and buy a new HDMI cable, and I've not taken any risks. This one goes down half the length of the room. I'm a bit of a stickler for cables, so I just want to show you this. First thing is I'm going to bring, there's more cables that's going to be in here. I'm going to bring all this in, tile this up and try and get it nice and neat, but I want to show you, apologies if the pitch quality is not all that good. The light's low and I'm using the old camera, not the new one. That will come soon, but I want to show you this if I can. Now what I've done, which you could think about yourself if you're doing something like this, I don't know if you can see this, but I have put a basket in there, and that is housing all the plugs and all the cables, and all I've done is used 4 hooks on my platform that I've created, and that is where all the cables are going, neatly packed away, and you'll never see them or notice them. It also means if I want to get to them really easily, there's a hook up in there that I can just twist and pop the whole thing down. I've got something to show you. I've been working on the rack cabinet that was damaged, and I've been able to fix it. The company that I bought the rack cabinet from made some suggestions as to how I could fix it if I wanted to. Under their supervision and their guidance, I have to say I'm incredibly grateful to them. They have been really helpful. I've actually redesigned and fixed the cabinet, and I'm going to show it to you right now because I'm just about to rack everything in, and I think you'll be surprised at the difference between where we started when I first took the cabinet out the box and had that huge disappointment with it being damaged to what it is now. So let's take a look. I have painted the cabinet, and I have also put some trims on the side as well, and these trims look really good. They're oak trims and they really give it a high quality finish. They make it look so much more expensive than what it actually was, and it's really simple and easy to do. And now what I'm going to do is put everything in the cabinet. So there we go. I've got to put some blanking plates in. I've left a gap between the thermionic culture and the power amp so that air can get through. You probably can't see it on the screen, but there's some grills here which allow the air to escape. So I thought it'd probably be a good idea to have this. These do heat up and get warmer, but they don't get ridiculously hot, so I think they'll be okay next to this. I did consider moving them down because I've got enough space. The other thing I considered was a gap between this and the ensemble, because the ensemble does get hot, but I'm going to see how it goes, and if I need to I can shift everything down. But that's pretty much it. It's looking pretty nice, I think. I'm really pleased with how that's turned out. I think the cabinet looks great, and once everything else is back in, we'll see what it looks like. Alright, now I'm pretty chuffed with myself because look how neat this is. And it means in the future, I don't know if you can see any of that, but it means in the future that when I actually come back to doing all of this, sorting out, I know exactly what everything is. Everything's color coded with the cables. All the cables under here are nice and neat and are all ready to go. There's a couple more bits to plumb in, but that is basically it. And it also means that in the studio it's going to look nice and tidy. And under there, which I showed you the other day, is you can see this cage. You can see it much better that I've created. So I've got another Surge Master or Surge type plug set, 4-way, 8-way, can't remember what it is, and a whole bunch of cables that are piled into that cage. I've used a metal one because I think metal will, of course, obviously be better if there's some kind of short. If it was plastic, there's the possibility that it could melt. And all the cables are tucked in nice and neatly. And I've also got this cable here, which is ridiculously expensive. Goes with the Amphion stuff. I have no idea if this ridiculously expensive cable makes any difference to the sound. I'm sure Amphion will say it does, but there you go. So that's how it's all kind of shaping up at the minute. Okay, new day, new box, studio's nearly done. You can see slippers, socks, no cables. We are almost done. And I have another box. So let's have a look at what we've got in here. I ordered a adapter for all the pedals, and the adapter was absolute trash. Key tip, don't go cheap because you'll end up with a huge hit when you buy adapters for guitar pedals. Instruction manual, so many more patch cables. That's completely useless, but they did supply a UK one. So let's take a look. It has 8 power supply inputs. It's pretty chunky and looks pretty cool. Look at that. I think this is actually just made by DV, the DV company, their stuff called Fame. So I hope that this is already set up for the UK. Off switch. Looks so much better than the other piece. It's even got a little grill to allow the heat to escape. Got 2 sections here, one for 12 volt, and then these were the ones that I'm going to be plugging in. These are the 9 volt power supplies, and apparently these are all isolated. Now with a pedal board, when you have lots of these plugged in, if you've got cheap NAF power supplies, you're going to get lots of noise. If this works, then happy days. If it doesn't work, then I'll be sending this back and upgrading again. Native Instruments must have been spying on me. Look at this! So, okay, obviously my studio is not a table with micro gear, but I think that's pretty cool. Can you imagine that, sitting at your coffee table and producing stuff? But look! They found a picture, or created a picture, with my legs. So I must be bang on trend. If you've gotten this far, I've either bored you to tears and you're currently sweetly snoozing to my dulcet tones, or you found what I've talked about vaguely interesting. Thanks for watching. In the next video, I'll show you how the studio now works for me, improving my workflow, and it might give you some ideas on how you can improve your space too and make the most of your gear. Either way, if you're asleep or still awake, raise your hand and hit that like and subscribe button for me now.